China has every intention of becoming the new superpower in the world, replacing the United States and then rewriting the rules of order to its advantage.
Something just happened in a secretive wind tunnel in Beijing, and it could change the way wars are fought forever. A brand new engine, fueled by standard jet fuel, just hit speeds so extreme that it left even military analysts speechless. We're talking faster than anything that's ever flown, faster than most missile defenses can even detect. But here's the twist. It's not just about speed. It's about who controls it, how it's used, and what happens when the balance of global power starts to shift. And would this be the start of a new arms race? Or are we already too late to stop it? The technology breakthrough. In July 2025, the world got a glimpse into the future of aviation and warfare. Chinese engineers officially revealed a hypersonic propulsion breakthrough that's left global defense circles stunned and aerospace experts scrambling for answers. The numbers are jaw-dropping: 12,400 miles per hour. That's Mach 16. A velocity so fast, an aircraft could circle the planet in under 2 hours. But here's what makes it even more insane. It runs on regular RP-3 jet fuel. This engine wasn't tested in the skies. It was pushed to its limits inside Beijing's state-of-the-art JF-12 wind tunnel, one of the most advanced hypersonic facilities on the planet. For the first time in history, scientists managed to sustain 2 full seconds of controlled detonation at hypersonic speed, something previously thought impossible due to intense instability. But they did it. Not just with one method, but using a dual-mode detonation system that marks a completely new class of propulsion. Let's break that down. At lower hypersonic speeds, up to Mach 7, the engine runs on rotary detonation. Think of it like a circular explosion that rotates rapidly, pushing the aircraft forward more efficiently than any jet engine ever built. Then, once it blasts past Mach 7, the engine seamlessly transitions into oblique detonation. That's where a shockwave forms in front of the engine and fuel detonates instantly as it slams into it, maintaining thrust even as the air thins and temperatures skyrocket. The results? A mind-blowing energy conversion rate of over 80%. To put that into perspective, traditional jet engines typically max out at around 30%. This isn't just a step forward, it's a leap into an entirely new frontier. But let's be clear, despite official claims about future commercial air travel, this isn't just some ultra-fast passenger engine. China has been very careful in its wording, calling it an engine instead of a missile. But with speeds this fast, the military implications are impossible to ignore. This engine isn't just fast, it's fast enough to outrun every known missile defense system on Earth. Now imagine attaching this to a warhead. There's no time to detect, no time to respond. It doesn't just rewrite the rules of aviation, it rips up the entire playbook of strategic deterrence. While the Chinese government points to peaceful applications like cargo transport and same-hour flights between continents, defense analysts are already calling it the foundation for a new class of weaponizable propulsion. Of course, the road to full deployment is still loaded with challenges. Traveling at Mach 16 means dealing with temperatures hotter than lava. Heat shielding has to be revolutionary. Structural materials must survive stress that would shred most alloys apart. And controlling a vehicle at those speeds, guiding it, stabilizing it, integrating it into either aircraft or missile platforms, is still an engineering nightmare waiting to be solved. But make no mistake, this isn't just about setting a new speed record. This is the first real glimpse of a future where the sky is no longer a barrier, it's a battlefield. A battlefield where whoever controls hypersonic propulsion controls the world. This isn't just about setting a new speed record. This is the first real glimpse of a future where the sky is no longer a barrier. But what does that kind of speed actually mean on the battlefield? And why are today's defenses already obsolete against it? Hypersonic warfare. Let's talk about what 12,400 miles per hour really means, not in science fiction, but in warfare. Because at this speed, everything we understand about national defense gets flipped on its head. There's no early warning, no interception window, no response time. Once something is launched at Mach 16, you don't even see it coming. It just hits. That's the brutal reality of hypersonic weapons. And this new engine? It's not just fast, it's a complete game changer, especially if it's used to power hypersonic glide vehicles, or HGVs. These aren't traditional missiles that arc high into the sky and follow predictable paths. HGVs dive under the radar, fly much lower, and maneuver mid-flight, making them nearly impossible to track. They don't follow the rules, and that's what makes them terrifying. Now let's stack this against the systems we currently trust to protect us. The US Patriot missile defense system. Not even close. Russia's S-500, still not fast enough. India's Akash system? Also built for threats far slower than this. These defense platforms were designed for ballistic missiles and aircraft traveling at maybe Mach 2 or 3. Even the current top-tier hypersonic glide vehicles, like China's DF-17 or the older DF-ZF, cap out around Mach 10. But this new tech breaks that ceiling. We're now talking about Mach 16. That's a whole different category. Imagine a future where this engine is adapted for next-gen hypersonic missiles, or drones that can strike a target anywhere on the planet in under 30 minutes, or even manned spaceplanes that double as high-speed surveillance or attack vehicles. We're not talking about tomorrow's threats. We're already seeing the blueprint today. This development shatters the old idea of safety through distance. In military strategy, there's a term, a 2/AD, anti-access/area denial. It's the concept that powerful nations can create zones around themselves that are so well defended, no enemy can get close. But hypersonic propulsion changes all that. Distance becomes meaningless. Even heavily protected zones, places where no missile was ever supposed to reach, are now just minutes away from destruction. And if all this sounds a bit too much like Cold War paranoia, that's because it is. Only faster. Back then, it was a race for orbital supremacy. Whoever got into space first had the upper hand. But now, it's not about who gets higher. It's about who gets there faster and who can strike harder. The arms race has gone horizontal and hypersonic. This isn't just military evolution, it's strategic revolution. The engine that China just tested isn't a theoretical threat. It's a working system. And that changes everything, because from now on, no matter where you are on Earth, the battlefield could be above you, and you might not even know it until it's already too late. But China isn't moving alone. So who else is riding this hypersonic wave, and could it already be shaping real-world conflicts? Strategic alliances and shadow wars. This hypersonic engine breakthrough didn't appear out of thin air. It's the product of years of quiet alliances, weapons transfers, and calculated moves across the global chessboard. And no partnership illustrates this better than the growing military collaboration between China and Pakistan. Right now, the two countries are in deep talks over hypersonic missile tech, especially regarding the DF-17, China's most advanced hypersonic glide vehicle. It's a clear signal that China isn't just building these weapons for itself. It's preparing to share them with key allies, and Pakistan is first in line. In fact, we've already seen this partnership in action. During the India-Pakistan skirmish in May 2025, Pakistan deployed Chinese-built J-10 Charlie fighter jets for the first time in combat, alongside PL-15 Echo missiles. These weren't test flights, they were real-world missions. The move didn't just boost Pakistan's military credibility, it gave China's aerospace industry a PR win, showing that its weapons can perform under pressure. And it doesn't stop there. Pakistan also operates Hangar-class submarines, developed jointly with China, giving it a stealthy underwater strike capability. Then there's the Nasser ballistic missile system, another China-Pakistan joint effort, built for short-range battlefield dominance. Together, these platforms paint a picture of deep technological exchange, where China supplies the tools and Pakistan becomes the frontline user. Zooming out, this isn't just about one alliance. China has quietly become one of the world's most aggressive arms exporters, supplying weapons to around 40 countries. From Myanmar and Bangladesh to Nigeria and Saudi Arabia, Chinese military hardware is showing up in conflicts and flashpoints around the globe. Take the JF-17 Thunder fighter jet, co-developed with Pakistan. It's already flying combat missions in Myanmar, being used in anti-insurgency operations. Nigeria received its own batch in May 2021. Bangladesh and Egypt have signed on. Even Azerbaijan has shown interest, and deals are on the table for Uruguay and Kuwait. This jet isn't just a product. It's a symbol of how far China's influence now stretches. And it's not just planes. Saudi Arabia, for instance, received Chinese ballistic missiles from the CSS series, powerful enough to project a serious regional force. They've also bought Wing-Lung drones, capable of both surveillance and precision strikes. These aren't symbolic buys. They reflect growing confidence in Chinese strike and intelligence technology. All of this is putting pressure on regional rivals. India, in particular, has ramped up its own military modernization. From the BrahMos 2 to the Pralay tactical missile and the new ETLDHCM cruise system, it's all part of a rapid effort to stay competitive. But now, with a Mach 16 capable engine sitting in Chinese labs, the balance may be tilting. This is no longer about keeping pace. It's about preparing for a battlefield where speed decides survival. This hypersonic breakthrough isn't just a scientific milestone. It's the natural extension of a long, complex web of alliances, weapons programs, and proxy deployments. It hints at something deeper, something already in motion. And if the trend continues, the first battlefield test of this engine may not be decades away. It could be just around the corner. It hints at something deeper, something already in motion. And if the trend continues, the first battlefield test of this engine may not be decades away. It could be just around the corner. So what's coming next? And are we ready for a world where missile strikes happen faster than decisions? What's next, and why it matters? So now that China has cracked the code on a Mach 16 hypersonic engine, what's next? The immediate step is to move from wind tunnel models to full-scale flight-ready platforms. That means designing aircraft or missile bodies that can survive the extreme heat, pressure, and G-forces of hypersonic flight. Engineers will need to integrate advanced heat shielding, precision guidance systems, and new materials that won't melt or fracture midair. This is where theory meets real-world application, and it's happening fast. But here's the problem. Global defense systems aren't ready. Most anti-ballistic missile technologies around the world, whether it's America's Aegis, Israel's Iron Dome, or Russia's S-400, are built to intercept threats moving far slower than Mach 16. Once a missile reaches those speeds, you're no longer talking about interception. You're talking about the aftermath. That's the kind of disruption this engine brings, and the rest of the world knows it. The United States is racing through DARPA-led programs like Glidebreaker. Russia has its Avangard system. India is pouring resources into its hypersonic tech after recent regional tensions. But here's the catch. They may already be behind. China's 2-second successful detonation test is more than a headline. It's a milestone that could mean China enters the hypersonic era years ahead of its rivals. Then there's the bigger picture, the ethical and political storm this could trigger. Hypersonic missiles blur the lines between conventional and nuclear weapons. If a Mach 16 projectile is launched, there may not be time to determine if it's carrying a conventional warhead or something far more devastating. That lack of clarity could cause nations to retaliate on assumption alone. Arms control treaties? Already outdated? Strategic stability? Hanging by a thread. So here's a question for you. How would you feel in a world where missiles can travel across the globe in just minutes? Where response time is shorter than a commercial break? Would you feel safer, knowing your nation has these weapons? Or more vulnerable, knowing anyone else might? That's the world we're headed into. And if you want to keep track of what happens next, whether it's new flight tests, global military reactions, or breakthroughs from other countries, make sure to subscribe.